Welcome to our One Blessed Mess. We're Ben and Liz, and we are raising 6 kids, which we had in 8 years, homeschooling in a dual entrepreneurial home, so 2 businesses, and keeping it exciting while having 4 teenagers, soon to be 5. And we also have
Did you mention the chickens?
Oh, no. We also have 8 chickens and 2 dogs. And also, we have a story about a snake in the chicken coop. I feel like we should talk about that for a second, because that's quite
a good story. So we had this snake, and he got into the chicken coop.
And
we found out about it because one of our kids came running inside screaming, there's a snake in the chicken coop.
Yes.
I can't remember who it was.
Oh, there was a lot of commotion. I don't remember either, but it was quite the excitement, not to mention quite the heart attack for me.
Yeah,
right.
Because the way that we built the chicken coop is like you have to lift up the little flat door thing
to get to the eggs.
See the eggs, but it's about eye level. So when you open it up, you kind of have to like stick your head in and look down. And
oh my gosh!
Thankfully, it the snake wasn't in that coop at the time. It was in a different coop since we no longer use that one. But anyways, that's besides the point. We were thankful that we didn't have a surprise snake in the face.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But instead, we found this snake in our other little coop that we no longer use, and it was unique because the snake had 4 eggs.
So it looked like
in its body.
So when you looked at the snake, it
looked like a beaded necklace.
It was like a beaded necklace. Yeah. Or like, how there's that hairstyle where you put your hair in a ponytail and they put like ponytails around it.
Like
and
puffs.
it puffs. It looked like that. It was freaky deaky.
And it wasn't moving very fast.
No. I mean, that
was a slow snake.
That snake must have been real hungry because it was like gulp, gulp. It was like Pac-Man, but with our eggs. And so this snake gets a bunch of our eggs, and it was scary as heck for me. Ben's like, it's just a rat snake, which, okay. Yeah, I just don't like snakes. Yeah, I don't like snakes. Right. They're not poisonous. So I'm like, you have to get rid of the snake, because now the snake knows how to get into our coop, which we're not really sure how it got on. Right. And then also knows where the goods are. Yeah. So we've got to get rid of the snake. So
what did I do though?
Oh.
This is where it gets interesting.
Oh, what did you do, Ben?
I took a brown paper bag and I went and got the snake, which he was pretty easy to get. He wasn't moving fast. And I put him in the brown paper bag. But the issue was I had to go to work, and there was some client thing going on, and I had to go make sure it was getting taken care of. So I left the snake in the brown paper bag, and I thought it was pretty secure because I had stapled the brown paper bag together.
But I'm in the house. Okay, I've already seen the snake. I don't really want to see the snake, take care of the snake. So I go into the house, and this is Ben's plan, is to put it in a brown paper bag, stapled, and then proceeds to bring it into the house and brings it into our bedroom where I am. And he's like, hey, here's the snake. What are you doing?
It wasn't going to hurt you.
Why is it in our house? Why is it in my bedroom? Why is it in a brown paper bag? He's like, I stapled it. What? Who cares?
It was a Trader Joe's bag. It's high quality.
Who cares? We need to trade that somewhere else. Anywho, so he's like, well, I don't have time. I got to jump on this meeting. And he's like, I'll get rid of it later.
I kind of forgot about it.
And then he forgot about it. But you know where he put that brown paper bag? Right inside our door, in our house, by the door, going outside. He sets it down right there. Now, I have to homeschool the kids. I still have business meetings that I'm going to be jumping on for my business. And I'm thinking, what if the snake gets out of the paper bag?
He wasn't coming out.
Well, okay. So the day goes on, and unfortunately, everybody forgot about the snake. Yeah, everybody forgot. It
just stayed there.
It just stayed there.
Right at the front of the house. And then by the time I got off work, I was like, oh, crap, I gotta take care of that thing.
You gotta go dispose of it.
I didn't kill it.
No, you didn't. But you had to get it away because it wasn't a harmful snake. I mean, it's one thing if it's poisonous, and we're all about helping animals and things. And so you just took it to another part of our neighborhood near a grassy knoll, right? And a lake.
I just rolled down the window, opened up the bag, and just let him out. And that snake was a happy snake. Well, hopefully.
It had it slithered away. It had its breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And the next meal.
4
eggs.
So, yeah, that's what it's like having chickens. I mean, we got lots of stories. And I just don't know if I've been cut out to be a farmer's wife. Like,
well, you're doing a good job.
Well, thank you. I just, I
don't know if I'm cut out to be a farmer.
Well,
Jury's
Farmer
still
Ben.
out on that one.
Farmer Ben, you're doing pretty good in my opinion.
Well, thanks.
I think you're great. Yeah. We have lots of stories of hatching eggs, and we had an incubator, and it's really fun.
And a dog that ate chickens, which
we had to take care of.
With,
yeah.
That's another story for another time.
That dog we had to give
But what
away.
are we talking about today? That was a rabbit trail. Man, these rabbit trails, they sneak up on us.
Well, but that's a good story.
It is.
I mean, it's a good story about how you brought a snake in a paper bag, a big snake in our bedroom.
That's good size, yeah.
Yeah.
4-footer.
Okay, so this is the topic we're diving in today, and we're going to be having a conversation about, and it's a pretty good one. I love this topic. In fact, Ben is wearing his festive shirt because it's festive, jazz hands, because he's like, oh, we're talking about our wee retreat. Yeah. We did a wee retreat, and it was pretty awesome.
I wanted to go to Hawaii for our wee retreat, but we couldn't quite make that happen.
Not
yet. Maybe a future wee retreat we will do.
Another anniversary trip.
Yeah, there you go. So that's our topic today is a wee retreat. And we got to go on a wee retreat recently.
Yep.
And so we're going to share a little bit about that. But first, we're going to talk about what it is. All right. So what is a wee retreat, Liz?
So basically, it's time that you get away with your spouse and you go through some like goal setting. You spend time with the Lord, spend time with each other. And it's just a really great retreat to get on the same page because you're an individual, I'm an individual, and we've got things that are going on. We're raising a family, a very active, busy, crazy, full life. And so sometimes we need to get away and pause to just come together. And that's what this wee retreat is all about. Actually, how we came up with it was I saw a post somewhere. I don't even know who said it, but they coined it "We Retreat," and so we've just adopted that name.
It's like a reboot. Right?
It's like a reboot. Yeah, I've
like
seen a download and reboot. Or goal weekend, something like that. But we value that, and we just wanted to share that with you because it's been so effective for us that we want to pass on the goods. That's what our one blessed mess is. Like whatever we found that works, it's like, hey, we want to let you know. So so that's what it is.
Cool. And so I think you talked about kind of why it was important a little bit, but one of the things that we realized, and this is when we were doing our wee retreat, we realized that we actually have been doing like a really basic form of this for years. And I'll talk just a little bit about that, but
since we were married.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
I think so.
Yeah. So for over 20 years.
So for over 20 years, we would go to this conference and it stopped right around the new year. And it was a conference of ours that, we were involved in at one point in time. And then we took our kids to, and it was just a cool place to hang out and get refreshed and whatnot. And so we were coming back and we would always travel pretty good distance from this conference.
In the car. Because flying with that many kids, that many littles was way too expensive. Yeah. So we would have the kids strapped in their car seats, eating snacks and or sleeping or watching a movie. Because it is a long trip. I mean, we're talking like 18 hours. And we just do it in one drive for that family. But it would give us time to like kind of reflect the previous year. Yeah. And then also kind of set goals and hear each other's heart for the next year.
Yeah. We weren't going anywhere for 18 hours. Like we were strapped in and we were up in the front seat. The kids were mostly good in the back. And so we just took that time to focus, ask each other questions and figure out what we wanted to do for the year. Because it was always that conference terminated right at the end of the year. So it felt like it was just our time to plan and set vision. Yeah, and figure out like what we wanted to do differently and stuff. And so that's a lot of the same point and even why to do it and why it's important with this wee retreat. It felt like the same thing, but just a lot more intense. And it was great that we weren't in a car for 3 days.
Yeah. So this one that we just did, like we were
having fun for 3 days.
Yeah, for 3 days. We actually planned it, got away, the kids were taken care of, and we went into it with we're going to be not in a car, sleeping in a bed. We decided to go to the beach because it's beautiful and inspiring. We both enjoy the coastal line, and we both enjoy, just being inspired in beauty. And we have a belief in this part of our marriage that every couple of months, we've been doing this for probably, 10, 15 years. I mean, it has to be, where every couple of months we try to get away. Yes, it's costly. Yes, it takes planning. Yes, we have to get systems in place to be able to leave our kids to go away. Now our kids, in the beginning was a little bit harder because they were tinier. But as the older they have gotten, the easier it is to, take off, because the olders help the youngers. And, we're in a great place to be able to do that.
Yep.
I should say 10, 15 years we've been doing this, not getting away every quarter. As the kids have gotten older, we've implemented it in the last maybe, 5 or 6 years, where we try to get away every 3 months or so. So, so anyway, this was really awesome because the whole point and focus of it was for goal setting. It was to hear each other's hearts. And, when we get away, I just want to say this little commercial. When we get away every quarter, we don't get away for multiple days. We try to, we would like to, but sometimes we just get away for one night. Like we'll head out to a B&B, bed and breakfast that's not too far from us, maybe in a near town, or we'll even get like a hotel room local and, have a grandparent come and stay with the kids, or the kids go to the grandparents' house. And we just treasure that time to be able to pause, reconnect, remember. Right. Remember why we're married, who this individual is. Because when you get in the rat race of life, sometimes this person gets a little blurry. And so when we pause and we take time, it gets clear again, right? Yeah, it gets clear.
Yeah, it's true. So we just did that. We just came back about a week or so ago from our We retreat. And we wanted to just share a little bit about that experience and what we got out of it. And, we just talked about kind of like what it is. And then specifically, we did ours for 3 days. But then like even more into what we did day to day. So the first day, unfortunately, I couldn't take off the full day for work on the first day, but the other 2 I was able to. So I had to do a little bit of work, but it was still nice to be at the beach and just relax and look out the window and see the waves. And
let all of your fellow workers that you work with be jealous at your view. Right. And, all
get on
the
my
things.
Zoom call and show them my real background at the beach.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, honestly, we found a little Airbnb. It wasn't a bad price and booked it at a great beach. And, one of the things that was great is sometimes it takes time to dial down.
Yeah.
And
decompress.
so even though you had to work,
right, it was still beautiful.
You were beautiful and able to start dialing down. Yeah.
Yep.
And what I was doing while he was working, I was actually answering some questions that both of us ended up answering at different times. But I really took the time, took a notebook, and went through all these questions. And we'll post these down below in a document so that you can take them too. We think that they'll be helpful for you. We actually got them from another couple.
Yep.
Their names are escaping me right now, but they're legit people. We should
find out. We need to attribute it because it was worth attributing to.
And they're great, and they have a wonderful ministry about helping families and everything. So they were doing a free Zoom, and so we went through these questions, and we'll link their information in this as well. So if you're wanting to jump into that, I definitely would listen to them. They're fantastic. They give a lot of wonderful, godly insight to families and marriage and raising kids and adult children and all those finances.
Yep.
They're pretty cool. So anyway, I went through their questions, and it was all about like wrapping up 2024 to be able to get ready for this next new year. And I'm so glad I did it because it brought a lot of healing for me. So even though Ben had to work and do his things, it was like the Lord hemmed me in to kind of get me ready for what he has in store, because this last year has been a little intense in my life.
Understatement.
A little bit. And so this was just like, to me, it felt like a kiss from God that these questions came at the time that they did, because we jumped on a Zoom with this couple.
Do you want to do like a couple questions?
Sure. So like, what was something that stole your joy this year? Talking about this past year. What has blocked community? What was a hindrance concerning your health or physical well-being? What has been the biggest distraction from being your best self? Something that I also thought was really great was, is there any area you need to grieve before you leave 2024? And then the last question was, do I need to forgive myself? So these were like, really good introspective questions. And it was just really helpful. So
well, it's interesting though that it kind of focused on some of like maybe what we would consider not the positive things, but almost some of the negative things, because we felt like it was a great way to actually like bring closure to 2024. Not that you have to focus on the negative all the time, but it was a great way to like, in our goal setting, typically what we try to do is we try to fix things that aren't in the right order, or they're not dialed in just right. So that's what our goal is to get to a better place, a healthier place. So by us taking the time to kind of think through and digest 2024, we're able to help set the goals for 2025.
Yeah. And it just prepped us. So we'll post that so you guys can, go through it too. And it doesn't matter what year it is. And I also just want to say this We Retreat does not have to happen at the beginning or the end of a year. Like it can be any time. Yeah. Really, it can be any time. But it's just to get
convenient.
Yeah, that's convenient. I mean, you may be having a baby. There may be a sick family member. We don't know what's going on in your life, right? But if you make it a priority, you're going to get the results. And we are so thankful.
Yeah.
So what
do we do day 2 then? So that was day one. And then day 2, we kind of actually jumped more into the goal setting piece of it.
Yep.
All right. And so talk about that a little bit, about how we started off individually and then kind of got to our together goals.
Okay. So we took lots of walks because we were at the beach, and we walked to a coffee shop every morning. It was like the best. It was the best. It was so good. It just, I mean, all that sea air anyway, it's just so good for your lungs. And it was really good to, especially after the holidays, to kind of just like have a reprieve. Because our home is usually the hosting home for our very large family, and our family's already large, but like the extended family. So, it's a lot of Christmas. But anyway, so we took that time and had a whole list of different topics. And after we went for a walk and had our coffee and we're back and we've both had our quiet time, we're back at the Airbnb. Yep. We set a timer and we made a list of topics that we felt were important to us. And I'll tell you our topics in just a second. But with the timer, we did like maybe 5 minutes, and we really didn't need the 5 minutes, the full 5 minutes.
On some of them. Yeah. Some of them we breezed through, the other ones, and some of them we actually did need the 5 minute timer because some would go a little long. But so we split up as individuals, right? Yep. And then we timed. And so we took a look at these topics, and the topics are wide ranging. You want to go through a couple of them?
Sure. So we had like finances, travel, family, kids, and we did our kids in each and every single name.
Yep. Each kid.
Because each kid's in a different stage and we see different things and, all this stuff. We did marriage, friends for me, friends for Ben. We did business. We did different streams of income, I always say that word. Philanthropy. Thank you. Philanthropy.
So giving, what we want to do to be, better stewards of the resources that we've been given, especially as it relates to other people.
Right. Our home. We have a camper, so we put that on there. Health and fitness, my goals, Ben's goals, because they're not the same. Like he has a different goal than what I do. Oh, imagine that, right? Meals. I did put meals on there because we kind of needed to get on the same page for that. We did faith for Ben, faith for me, and then personal for Ben and personal for me. So those were our like big topics. Yeah. And then we we each had our own list, and
so 5 minutes for
5 minutes on each one. And you just basically don't want to spend a lot of time.
It's like a dump list.
Yeah, It's like a dump, because if you spend too much time, then you can get like in the weeds. You kind of work quickly, get through it. So we did.
How long did that take us?
I mean, for all of these, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes.
I felt like it was a little longer than that, but maybe, yeah.
Okay.
But that's okay. But what took the longest that day? So we should say that this is how you start, right? Individually. And then the next part of this exercise was coming together, talking through our individual goals and simultaneously forming our together goals, our we goals. Okay, so this was the real crux of what we were trying to get to. Is our we-ness, our we goals. So this was the we retreat piece.
The we. Yep. So this was a big deal. because, it took about 5 hours, people. Like, it was a while.
From start to finish, it was 5 hours.
Yeah, and we didn't really feel like it would take that long. We're like,
no, we were blindsided. I thought we would be done in like an hour.
Nope.
No way. We got a few that were like, oh, shoot, we're not on the same page. And so we had to try to come to compromises. And it wasn't too hard, honestly. But it was very detailed. Like there were some things that we had to really work through to figure out what the actual compromise would be. And not that it was hard, but it was just, it was like a lot of information to process, especially when you had a different perspective, I had a different perspective, and then we were trying to figure out, just how to see that perspective as it relates to whether it was kids or finance or, even just physical goals, right? So it was really interesting trying to find that common ground.
So if you know anything about strength finders, which I love strength finders, we actually
Gallup's, right?
Gallup's strength finders, pretty brilliant. Costs money to take the test, but highly recommend it. A lot of corporations use it. It's basically focusing on your strengths. So there's 34 strengths, and when you take the test, you can unlock your top 5 strengths. And then if you want, you pay a little more money, and then you hear and find all 34. And it starts from, 1 being your highest and 34 being your least. And the idea is that you're looking at your strengths and how God has made you, and not looking at your weaknesses and trying to change those.
Just operating in your strengths.
Operating in your strengths, right.
Yep.
So we pulled up our strength finders because in our goal setting, we think different. Like, isn't that the beauty of marriage? Like, you have 2 completely different individuals coming together. And something about Ben is he has a strength called ideation.
Are you excited about that strength of mine?
That one is something. And if you know about ideation, it's a really great strength to have. But I didn't realize my husband really operated in that. So,
well, what is ideation?
It's where you have lots of ideas. Yeah, he has a lot of ideas. And here's the beautiful thing about Ben. He has great ideas, and he likes to research everything out. He also has a strength called intellection. So he really likes to learn. And that's really him. That's why when we're doing these podcasts, like, he knows the facts. He knows where it's going because he's done the study, to be able to talk about it. He's learned it. And so with ideation, like, he has lots of great ideas. But what we had to realize is, like, which ones are we going to work on? Because he has so many ideas.
Sometimes I present them in a shotgun format, and I don't know which ones. You don't receive the shotgun format very well.
So I just start blocking him. No. And I don't want to shut him down, right? I don't want to shut him down because his ideas are great. But
I have to be a little bit perceptive as to which ones I share and which ones are important enough for me to focus on with you.
Right.
Because otherwise I can overwhelm.
Well, and that's your responsibility. I think that's what we discovered in the We Retreat, that his responsibility is to, like, he may have 15 ideas, and I'm not kidding. Okay. About something. And you're laughing, but it's true. And so he has a lot of ideas, and then he needs to pare it down to like 3 and then the 1. So, I'm a doer. So, and
it's true. And that's what probably overwhelms you, is because you start to think, okay, if we actually do all 15 of these, we're going to be spent.
I'm already spent just talking about them. I'm tired. Liz is tired. So anyway, so it was really interesting, but it wasn't like bad. I think the beautiful thing coming away from this, like, was looking at what's in your heart and what you want to do, and, like, being able to champion you on to pursue whatever's in your heart. Like, for an example, Ben has a desire to read 12 books a year, 1 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
And he loves to read. He's so into books, and I love that about him. And you like the real sciencey ones that are thick with lots and lots of statistics. I'm like, put me to bed. What is it? Coway? Take me away. The bath. Okay, doesn't matter. Anyway, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So now I can be like, hey, how are you doing on your book? Like, which one are you reading this month? How's that going? Because I know it's a goal, a personal goal that he has.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that, you've got other goals too. And through talking about it and figuring out, like, I can see that your heart is in with the kids specifically. Like, you had really detailed goals for each of the the kids,
Yeah.
and I can see how much you love them and how much you are shepherding their hearts, and so that was actually inspirational for me. And not that I didn't have those
I was
goals
going to say,
or
I think
similar
you're
goals,
really, you're really good into our kids. Like I thought what you had for the kids, honest.
well, it just blessed me because it's like, man, yeah, you've got so much insight,
I felt that way about you. It's kind of funny we're talking about
there
that.
you go.
Well,
On the same page.
Hey,
same page. Fantastic.
On the same page. Okay. High five.
So anyways, being able to find the commonality in the goals and then come away with a corporate, or I guess a we goal list, right? Where it's both individuals together coming and saying, this is what we really want to focus on 2025. And we took it one step forward. We actually then started looking at our budget and then try to figure out how those goals match up with our budget and how to prioritize those goals based on our budget and our finances and things like that. So that was another step. And if you've got the time, great to do it. If that stresses you out, and doing budget the same time you're doing goals may not be smart. I'm just saying that, that might not work for you.
Schedule it in that you're going to get that done. Yeah. So that you're like, okay, next Saturday, we're going to meet for breakfast and we're going to be at a restaurant having breakfast with a cup of coffee and hammer this out, figure it out. So yeah. And here's the thing, you guys, we spent time on our we goals, but we know we're not going to hit all of them. It's a target to aim towards. And to just get clarity with each other. Because I think when we look at marriages, and we have friends that are in marriages, they're not on the same page. They're not communicating enough. And I want you to hear my heart. I want to hear your heart.
Right.
And so this is a pause.
Well, and we can also hold each other accountable too. Like if we have this common set of goals that we're both trying to get to, we can look at one another and say, hey, how are we doing on our goals?
Yeah.
We have regular check-ins, and that was part of it.
We schedule that.
Let's figure out how to actually act on these goals, activate them. And now we have decided that on Sundays, we're going to take a look at our goal sheet and figure out how we're doing. And week to week, we can make some adjustments and figure out how to prioritize other goals and maybe deprioritize some. But that's the idea, is we want to have a plan. We want to be diligent. We want to do our best, and we want to do our part. We realize that it needs to be flexible. And the other thing too is we realize that God's got to be in it, so it's definitely not just a we, me and you, but also a we with him.
Yeah. And
so all three of us coming together and figuring out what's the plan for the family. I think that's the important part, right? Is to make sure it's a 3-strand cord, and that God is invited and has complete rule over the plans. And so because they can change, depending on situations, they might need to change, even in the middle of the year. Who knows? Yeah.
So what do you think we'll do different next time?
Ooh, what would we do different next? Oh, that's right. Okay. So what we would do differently next time is I definitely would take off work. I wouldn't try to fit in a day of work. I like
it. I think it's good.
Because it wasn't that it was bad and I needed to do it, especially because I had taken some time off already for, I was going to say Thanksgiving, but that wasn't Thanksgiving. That was Christmas.
It was a different holiday.
Yeah. They're all blended together.
Came together.
Anyway, so I would take off work. I would just dedicate the entire time to doing this goal setting and to finding out about you and, what didn't go right in 2024, what you want to see differently in 2025. And another thing I think that we would do differently is we would try to experience something new together. I think that would be nice to while we're doing this, to also maybe do a little adventure or something we haven't done before together.
I love it.
Just to kind of keep it exciting.
Do a cooking class or
something.
Something. Wherever we're located, just find something cool to do. I love that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Put that in there. Great idea. So our blessing is in the midst of us meeting. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. Being able to just hang out and, goal set with you. And it was encouraging to see kind of your passions and finding out what you wanted to do, where you wanted the family to go. And I know you felt that way about me too. And so it was just exciting to be able to set some vision for the year. And some verses come to mind. Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. So that's kind of an interesting verse. Being diligent and planning, I think can be a blessing, can lead to abundance.
Abundance.
And On top of that, a little bit before that passage in Proverbs 16:9, it says, "The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." And so that was what we're talking about, that third piece, like making sure that God's a part of your plans.
Yes.
He's the one that makes it happen. We can do our best, but without him, it's not blessed.
It's not. It's not. And we definitely have a mess.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And so we just want to say thanks for being a part of our One Blessed Mess today. Also, our fun acronym that Ben always says. Go ahead, Ben. What is it?
O1BM.
O1BM. Or I say our 1BM because, again, here we are. But don't forget to subscribe and share, like, heart, whatever platform you're listening to this on or watching. And also to share us with your friends. If you think that there's somebody out there that would benefit from what we have to share, especially about the We Retreat. We did a We Retreat. And, again, follow us on Instagram. Our One Blessed Mess is our handle. Of course, it's the numeric one. But until next time, we just want to say embrace your beautiful mess, because if our mess is blessed,
then we know so can yours.